Welcome to Unlocking Your Truth, another podcast by Dr. Lesley Phillips.
Hello everybody and welcome to this week's edition of Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley and Corey.
Hello. I didn't know it was an edition. I thought it was an episode.
I suppose. Yeah, it's an episode. So if you're a regular listener to Unlocking Your Truth, you know that this is a talk show where we focus on everything to do with metaphysics and spirituality. And every week we have a different topic, and then we open the phone lines for you, the listeners, to phone with your questions and receive an intuitive reading or even an energy healing to help you and assist you with your growth and evolvement. So this week is no exception to that. The topic of the week is going to be the power of the third eye.
I only have two eyes, though.
No, you actually have a third eye, Corey.
No.
Yeah, you do.
No.
You do.
Is it going to cost me third more to get glasses now, or what?
No, it's free. Yes, it's been shrouded in mystery, and it's been embraced by mystics for thousands of years, and on occasion feared by ordinary men. And we see symbols of the third eye all around us. And the most famous one is the eye within a triangle that you commonly see on the US currency, on the dollar bill. It's called the Eye of Providence. Can you think of any other places where you see symbols of the third eye? Yeah, the Masonic symbol, exactly. That's also an eye within a triangle. And there are actually quite a few more of them. For example, the traditional caduceus symbol, which is the symbol of medicine, is a staff, typically with a pine cone at the top and a couple of snakes winding up the stem of the staff.
Got to get one of those.
Yeah, the pine cone is a symbol that relates to the third eye as well. And we actually see that symbol in lots of architecture in old churches and maybe not so old churches. And it's also, if you think about ancient Egypt, the Eye of Horus that's a symbol of the third eye as well. That Egyptian eye, it's sometimes called the Eye of Horus, or even the Eye of Osiris, or the Eye of Ra. It is actually a map, a diagram that explains the third eye. So all of these symbols are in plain sight, but not necessarily understood by everyone except for the initiate, the spiritual initiate. It's also been called the middle eye of Shiva in Hinduism, the eye of the world in Buddhism, and the crystal palace. There's like an oral tradition of explaining the third eye through stories. The crystal palace of the Celts is symbolic of the third eye.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's an ancient tale about a journey to the and we did a Christmas special one year about the symbolism of the manger also being symbolizing spirit in a body. So it's shrouded in mystery. It's been embraced by mystics and feared by ordinary men for thousands of years. But what exactly is it? what exactly is the third eye? So let's explore that today, listeners. And if you want to phone us up and join in the discussion after the break, by the way, you can call 604-504-7441, extension 4142. And so your third eye is a receiver of light. And you are light. So it's a place within your body where you, the light being, the being of light, is meant to sit. The third eye is a receiver and a transmitter of energy, and a place where vibrations are interpreted and translated into a form that the brain can process. So higher consciousness can be understood by ordinary consciousness. Now, when it's activated and functioning, and under your conscious realization, it gives you access to non-physical reality. So you become aware of the higher planes, you can read the Akashic records, you can see a wider range of electromagnetic energy configurations and frequencies than you can with your ordinary eyes. And these can be perceived as colors, as symbols, formulae, thought forms. You can see auras. You can perceive non-physical beings like angels, guides, ascended masters, ghosts, deceased people, the astral bodies of living people as well. And when mastered, your third eye conveys clarity. It enables you to see the truth about everyone and everything, living or not. It confers focus, clarity, neutrality, acceptance, the ability to not be in judgment. And it allows you to see what is. So you can appreciate yourself and you can appreciate others and validate your unique perspective. It can help you appreciate relationships between people and events, see into the cause and effect between things, see into the present, the past, the future, other dimensional realities. It really opens up a realm of non-ordinary reality experiences for you. So it's located in the sixth chakra and in the center of the brain. And it encompasses the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, and the thalamus. So that's what I was saying about the ancient Egyptian eye of Horus. When you look at how they drew that symbol of the eye, and if you look at a diagram of those glands within the brain, they look very, 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 very similar. So the eye of Horus was a representation of the third eye and the physiology in the brain that relates to the third eye. And as we mentioned, the pineal gland is shaped like a pine cone. And this gland is located in the center of your head, in the center of your sixth chakra. And in terms of physiology, it controls the effect of light on the body. So it's involved in sleep-wake cycles, for example. But spiritually speaking, it houses you, your light, and allows the light of consciousness as you to be translated into physical form. And nearby to this gland, slightly underneath, is the pituitary gland. It's located lower down in the brain, and it's known as the master gland because it's the main control center that sends messages to the rest of the endocrine system. And there's an energetic synchronization that occurs between these two glands that activates the third eye. And this has been referred to as the mystical marriage. It's the marriage between body and spirit, the interface between you, the spiritual consciousness, and your vehicle, your physical body. So the pituitary gland is often called the seat of the mind. And because it regulates There's 2 lobes to it, and it regulates emotional thoughts like poetry and music, but also logical thought and intellectual concepts. Whereas the pineal gland is known as the seat of the soul, and it's associated with intuition. And so the third eye is the meeting place between body and spirit, intuition and reason. And I like to think of the pituitary gland as it's kind of like the lieutenant of the pineal gland, and it helps spiritual consciousness actualize its intentions in physical reality by translating them into action through the nervous system and the endocrine system. And the other part of the third eye is the thalamus and the hypothalamus, and that's kind of like a feedback loop. So the thalamus is a regulatory gateway, and sensory input comes in and motor output goes out, and it's involved in the autonomic nervous system, such as breathing, heart rate, and circadian rhythms, and so on. So this communication triangle helps translate your spiritual information into your body's reality. So we got a little bit into the physiology there, but your third eye, in simple terms, it is the place in the center of your head, in the center of your 6th chakra, where you, the spiritual consciousness, can sit and be in charge of your reality. It's a place where you can see as spirit, where you can focus where your physical body is, be present in the same within time and space where your body is, and relate to your physical reality and your physical environment. So, listeners, whenever I do any readings on this show, what I'm actually doing is I'm using my third eye. I'm seating my consciousness in the center of my head on my pineal gland, and I am using my ability to see as spirit into those other dimensions of reality. Whether somebody wants me to look at their past life, whether somebody wants me to look at their energy field, or their soulmate, or their life purpose, all of that information is accessed through the third eye. So whatever you phone in or write in and ask about, I'm actually using my third eye to give you a response. And, there's a little bit more to it than I've explained in a way, in terms of being able to have it, control it and see. But I guarantee every single one of you can learn to activate your clairvoyance by learning to seat your consciousness in the center of your head at that location, the pineal gland.
There's a neat meditation on the website as well that you can.
Yeah,
I'll include it in the podcast article when we write this article.
Thank you. Yes, there is. There's a meditation on centering that we will share with you. Yes.
Because sharing is good.
Sharing is fantastic. So I think it would be a good idea to leave lots of time for listeners' questions this week.
Yeah,
because we have a lot of questions.
So many of them.
So, shall we do a question or do a break and then a question, Corey? What do you think?
Let's do a break and then a question.
Yeah. So, listeners, if you want to phone in with a question, it's 604-504-7441, extension 4142, and you can write to us at info@drlesleyphillips.com. And I have to say, the number of questions that we're getting has gone up a lot over recent times. And so it's always good to phone in, because then you can guarantee that your question's going to get answered. Anyway, we'll be back after these few short messages. Hello, listeners. Welcome back to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley and with Corey. On tonight's show, we were talking a little bit about the third eye, and now we're going to give you a demonstration of the third eye in action, because we're going to answer your questions that you've written in with. And if you want to send us a question, you can write to info@drlesleyphillips.com. You can also phone us up live on air on 604-504-7441, extension 4142. So, Corey, what kind of questions have we got this week?
Sorry, I just had to close the door. The studio audience was a little noisy. Okay, let's start with Lauren. And Lauren says, I'm wondering if I should post out of my current job into another one.
Wondering whether to change jobs. Okay, well, let's take a look. So to answer your question, like we said at the beginning, I'm actually going to seat my consciousness in my third eye and connect with your energy and take a look. So I'm taking a look at you in your current job. So what I'm seeing, Lauren, is that if you turn within, close your eyes, turn within, get grounded, sit in the center of your head, you will realize that you already know the answer to your own question. Because I'm seeing that you've already decided what you want as spirit. I'm seeing that you've decided that you want to move on, and that the only reason you're asking the question is because your intellect is jumping in and throwing in some doubt into the mix. But you, the spiritual consciousness, you've already moved on. You've already started creating what the next thing that you want to move into will be. And it kind of looks like a done deal to me. So the answer to that is you're doing it. You've already decided.
Okay, good answer.
Mm-hmm.
And this question's from Par, P-A-R. And Par would like to know, I'm a 42-year-old single female, 43 in a month, and happy birthday, early happy birthday, I should say, and wondering when or if I will meet my divine mate in this lifetime and get married and have a family of my own. What can you tell me about my life around the love relationship? Thank you, with much love.
All righty. So let's take a look at that. So again, seating my consciousness in my third eye in the center of my head and taking a look at Par and her question. So the question is, and it's a future time question, and so normally I don't read the future. You'll see in the last question, it seemed like a future time answer, except she'd already decided it. She'd already created it as spirit. So, but this lady, we're going to answer the question in a different way, because you create your own reality. So you decide what you want, and then by believing what you want and allowing yourself to receive what you want, you can have what you want. So let's take a look at what might be blocking you from creating a family with your divine mate. And this might take me a moment to well, one of the things that I'm actually seeing is that you're not very in your body. And so I'm seeing that you spend a lot of time outside of your body, kind of dreaming, and not very much time really grounded and present. And so it looks like you, the spiritual consciousness, is dancing around in fantasies, in ideas, in possible futures, and your body is kind of full of past time disappointments. So a lot of your energy is in the past, focused on past disappointments, and a lot of your energy is just sort of out there, out of the body in the future. And I'm seeing that whole configuration of energy is what is preventing you from actualizing your dreams into physical reality. Because what you're asking about is a creation that you want to make that your body can participate in. A family, a partner. Those are things in physical reality, and yet you're not participating in your physical reality, and you're not participating much in your physical body. So I would suggest listening to our podcast on grounding and our grounding meditation, listening to the link on centering as well that will be shared with this podcast, and learn those two techniques and use them to help you to be present in your body, focused right here, right now, releasing and letting go of anything from the past in terms of past time disappointments, and letting go of anything that would stop you believing that you can have what you want. And I'm seeing that if you can shift your energy and your focus in that way, then you will exponentially increase the likelihood that you will receive what you want, and you will exponentially speed up the rate at which it is attracted to you. So that's what I'm seeing for that lady.
You are. Mm-hmm. You did.
I did.
You are. Okay, this is a question from Kay. And Kay would like to know, and she says, I still have anger and fear issues regarding experiences I had when I was a child. Can you help me move past this?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. On to the next question.
Well, of course, and in a way, that's a funny response, but a true response, because sometimes these things take a bit more than a quick answer on the radio. And so oftentimes things that are anchored in childhood that relate to significant trauma might take some focus to create a change. But anyway, Kay, I will take a look. And again, I'm just focusing my attention in the center of my head, on my pineal gland, in my third eye, and I'm tuning into you from that from there. Taking a look. Well, first thing, I just want to validate that I can see that you've been working on this and that you've made lots of progress, and you're in the process of healing yourself. So don't feel frustrated that you're not perfectly healed, because I'm seeing that what you've been doing so far has been having an effect. But the main block I'm seeing now is in the fifth chakra, and it has to do with being able to express your anger, being able to express, talk about what happened in a safe place, and to be able to express your anger, and in the expression and outpouring of that, be able to let it go more deeply. Because I'm seeing at the moment that it's sort of like there is a block in the fifth chakra, that sort of things, even things that you'd like to express in present time reality, get stuck there and can't come out because of that accumulation of past times when you stuffed it down and didn't speak up because it didn't feel safe. And so anything that would allow, a funny thing that's coming up is even an acting class or something like that, where you could play act, anger, or a private place where you could just let rip, or some kind of therapy or teacher or mentor or helper that could guide you through that. Yeah, I think that's really the main thing. But I'm seeing that the other thing is just focus on validating how far you've come and how much you have healed yourself already. because I'm seeing you've come a long way.
She can also play rugby. Take it out there. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's one of my favorite questions. This is from Sarah. And Sarah wants to know, could you tell me about one of my past lives?
Okay. Sure. Because
you're using your third eye.
I'm using my third eye. And when I use that, I can see past lives.
I can see for miles and miles.
I can see anything I want to see. And so, all right. So I'm going to go into my little trance that I go into. And look at this lady called Sarah, who wants to know about one of her past lives. And I always like to do an orientation and look at the present life first, because the reason that past life information can be beneficial is in the way that it relates to the present life. Otherwise, we're just doing it for entertainment and amusement. So I'm going to look at you in your present life right now. And these are the sort of things that I'm tuning into. There's something coming up about substance and wanting substance and feeling like you lack substance or feeling like your life lacks substance. And it looks like it's because you feel different, and because you look at yourself and you say, well, I'm different to other people and I'm not like them, but I should be like them. And I'm seeing you are you. And you're not meant to be like anyone else because you are unique. And I'm seeing that it's not that you lack substance. I'm seeing it's more that you have a very light energy. And that lightness of being that you're embodying allows you to be very, for want of a better word, like fleet of foot comes to mind for some reason, that you're able to, you're very adaptable, you're very flexible, and you're able to, there's almost like a feeling of you being like water, like a river that can flow anywhere, that just so very flexible. And it makes you feel different to other people. But I'm seeing that we want you to be different because we want you to be you. So let's take a look at a past life. And there is one that's showing up. And it looks like you're asking this question because there's something that you're wanting to heal. I'm seeing that there's some sort of almost like a stuck energy in this past life. So let's see what it is. And actually, what's funny about it is it's showing up like there's a stack of past lives all lived very close together in time, and all with this one particular thing that you're wanting to get at. So let's see if we can just choose one of them and see. So female body, dancer, and a dancer who, well, this particular lifetime, the way I'm seeing it is, well, you know what? I'm going to say it's in ancient Greece, but I'm also going to say that there is a lifetime in the 1920s that maps very closely to this one. And I'm also seeing if I go into that little stack of lives that, well, there's one other, I'll pick one other out, which is an Indian lady. So the life that I'm tuned into first as the dancer, again, there's this feeling about you of being light, airy, and what you were doing in the dance was entrancing people, mesmerizing them, but offering a particular energy vibration that in the, when they watched you and kind of got into a hypnotic state, what they were doing was matching your energy level. So in the art of dance, you were helping raise people's energy vibrations. And I'm seeing that it was enjoyed by some and feared by others, because some people called you an enchantress, and it looks like you were dancing in some kind of a court, and that often, especially foreign visitors, I'm seeing at one time there were some foreign visitors from somewhere like the Middle East, Persia or somewhere like that, and they were horrified. They thought you were an enchantress. And the reason is because their energetic vibration was so vastly different to yours, so much lower, that being present in an environment like that made them start to be aware of some of the darkness that they had within their own energy fields. And anyway, I'm seeing, I don't want to go into it in too much depth, but I'm seeing that they turned against you, and that they felt like you were a demoness that needed to be punished. But really what they were railing against was their own inner demons that they'd projected onto you. And really what all you'd done was shed some light on who they were. And so I'm seeing that it looks like you have carried over a kind of like a fear of being yourself in that high light energy vibration, because it's not always accepted by people. I'm going to take a quick look at the Indian lady as well that I saw as a past life. So, because that was it. Like I said, it looks like there's a dense collection of about 8 past lives, all lived very, very close together. And the Indian lady, well, I'm seeing it was in the caste system in India, where people were born into different levels of society and had to live in that whole level their entire lives. And I'm seeing that you belong to one of the lower castes, and that it sort of gave an artificial ceiling effect. It's like you, inside yourself, you felt buoyant and light, and yet there was a cultural thing that wanted to keep you within a certain band of energetic frequencies. And so I'm seeing that in that life you kind of were able to see people and or on some subtle level tune into energies. And it was a lifetime where you were challenging yourself to validate yourself and validate your lightness and brightness, regardless of how everybody else saw you and projected onto you. So I'm going to finish up with this, and then we'll go to another break. And so I'm just going to see if we can bring that back to what we saw at the very beginning about you. Well, I'm seeing that the substance that you think you are lacking when you compare yourself to other people is the denseness of heavy energies that they're carrying around in their fields. And, I am just seeing your energy is high and light and lovely. So I hope that gives you some clarity about yourself, Sarah. And we're going to go to another break. And then, listeners, we will be back continuing to answer your questions. We have lots to go through, but if you want to phone up, you're welcome to. 604-504-7441, extension 4142. And info@drlesleyphillips.com. Hello, listeners. Welcome back to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley.
Welcome to our studio audience as well.
Mm-hmm. And today we were talking about the third eye and how that is the place where spirit meets body, and where you, the spiritual consciousness, can be and experience your reality, and also tap in and tune in to the non-physical reality. And now we're doing a little demonstration of using the third eye by answering your questions.
I knew you were going to ask me for another question. See, my third eye is working as well. I have Frankie. Frankie says, why do I have these abilities and what should I do with them?
All right, Frankie, let's take a look at you. And Frankie doesn't say what abilities Frankie perceives themselves to have, but... Well, one of the things that I'm seeing is that you might be one of those people that identifies yourself as an empath. Somebody who has that subtle ability to tune in to how others are feeling. So otherwise known as clairsentience. But I'm actually seeing that with you, it's a combination of your clairsentience, but also your aspects of intuition within your heart center. So feelings of affinity and oneness and interconnectedness. And I'm seeing that there are other things going on as well, but those are the two that jump out most strongly to me. And the other thing that I see is pictures of you teaching and reaching out to groups of younger people. And it almost looks like is teaching kids how to deal with their emotions, how to understand their emotions and how to deal with their emotions from a spiritual perspective. So you are spirit, you live in a body, your body has emotions, that's how your body talks to you, and let's learn all about how to talk to our bodies and how to listen to our bodies. So if you feel an affinity for kids and you feel like you have that ability to sense into people on an emotional level, then I would just say that's kind of what my answer is. And I'll see if there's anything else to say to you. That there's some learning involved and there's some healing involved. And that's inner learning and inner healing. Learning how to master being an empath so that you can overcome the challenges of being an empath, so that when you do, or as you work with others, you can pass on that level of mastery. And I'm seeing that what we've been talking about this evening is not out of place with respect to your question, because the way that you as an empath learn to master that aspect of yourself is actually by using the third eye, because the third eye gives you clarity and neutrality and prevents you being gobbled up by the emotional levels. So it gives you the ability to tune into the body's emotions without being swamped by them and without being swamped by other people's emotions as well. So that's what I'm seeing, Frankie. And if you feel like you need a hand, I have lots of online courses that teach all about both of those things, actually. So that was my answer for that person. And I know we've got more questions.
Oh, have we got questions? This is a question from Massey. And she wants to know, there's a guy I like and love, but he has a girlfriend. Will he ever contact me again? Should I be in a relationship with him if in the future he asks for it?
Okay, let's take a look. So, in present time, I'm seeing that this guy, to be blunt, doesn't have a focus on you, doesn't have an interest in you. and is focused on his current relationship. And I'm also seeing, by way of some guidance, that rather than focus your attention on that person who in present time reality is not able or willing to give you what you're wanting, is let that go. And instead ask the universe for what you really want, which is a loving relationship, someone you love that loves you back. And let the universe match you up with something that is a good match for that. And I feel that that will be a faster path to happiness and fulfillment than focusing on this person who isn't showing any signs of shifting. And do you really want to just wait for some unknown time in the future where they might change? I would say perhaps it's better to just surrender to the universe and ask for the love that you want and let go of your focus on that person. What else do we have, Corey?
I have a comment on that one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's just that she says something, and I can understand liking, and that she says she loves him, but I think it's difficult to love someone unless you are in a relationship with them. I mean, I think infatuation, then infatuation, and then love. So I agree. If she just opens herself to love, she's probably missing a whole bunch of really interesting people around her that would fulfill her.
I'm seeing that that's true.
Yeah. She's focusing on something that she can't have. So in essence, what I got from this is that she wants to have a loving relationship, but she's actually avoiding it by trying to acquire something that she can't have.
Mm-hmm. That's a really, really, really good insight.
Yeah.
And so, Massey, that would be the way in which you're sabotaging yourself. Yeah. As Corey says.
Yeah, I think that's what I got from my third ear.
Yeah, and that's probably due to an early wound in childhood.
Yeah, so something from the past. She's got a trauma in the past that's affecting her, and she doesn't know it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, she should seek out a little bit of spiritual counseling from someone, you yourself or someone else. We've got a question from Alana, one of our regulars. How do I manifest? Oh, same question. Mm-hmm. How do I manifest meeting a specific man? I will call him Al. Do I need to change my vibrational field? How do I do this? Is there a past life in the way? Ooh, I like people that try to blame other things.
Didn't she phone up last week or the week before with this question?
Yeah,
I think we answered it on air already.
Answered it.
Yeah,
okay.
we did.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering. She's one of our regular callers. She likes to call in and send questions. She's got her own personal psychic. You could have your own personal psychic too if you wanted. And here's a question from Joni. Joni says, "How can I find back to my true self? Is my soul too much out of body, or are other energies from other people, older, darker spirits with me?"
Okay.
That's actually a really...
So how do I get back to my true self? Is my soul with me or out of body, and am I full of darker energies from others?
Yeah.
Okay, that is a great question. I think she's been listening to some podcasts there.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, Joni, let's take a look.
That'll be the last question.
Yeah, that will be the last question. So the question is, how can I get back to my true self? Well, you know what? Grounding is always the best answer that I give for any question. And not to be trite, but that's an answer. How can you get back to your true self? Grounding. Because grounding helps you release whatever isn't you and helps you connect with whatever is you. So that would be the first thing that I would say is get grounded. And and I would say, yes, you're reading yourself pretty well in that I'm seeing that all of the energy that's you, that's meant to be in your body, isn't in your body, because your body is there are other energies that are stored there. Let's see if we can give you some more information about it. About why that is. Sorry for going quiet, folks. I'm just looking at this. Well, part of me wants to say, focus on the light and focus on what's right. Because that's going to expand as opposed to those darker energies that you talked about. But I'm seeing what sucks you in. Looks like it's taking responsibility for others. Or just getting mixed up in other people's problems and issues with them. One might call it this, the sympathy challenge. What's the difference between sympathy and empathy? Sympathy is when you climb in the hole with someone and roll around in the mud with them, as opposed to offer a helping hand to lift them up out of the mud. So I'm seeing. Just look at your interactions with others and work on your neutrality and empathy, as opposed to immediately taking responsibility and focusing your energy into other people's issues. Any insights from you on this one, Corey?
No insights there. Nothing really. It's a good answer.
Thank you. Well, folks, we've reached the end of the show.
Thank you for joining us. You've been listening to another Unlocking Your Truth podcast by Dr. Lesley Phillips. For more information, go to our website at drlesleyphillips.com. That's drlesleyphillips.com, where you can ask questions or send her an email, and there's many free gifts on there for you as well. Come back again.